Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of You Are the Guide. New week, new Monday, new episode. And this week, I am creating this specific episode for you if you have recently been feeling a little bit lost, almost as if you cannot find your way or the path in how you can feel the most fulfilled, you can find the most joy, and you can just do this thing live without so much struggle. If that is you, this episode is for you. And just know that it requires a lot of courage to question when we are going through something difficult and question ourselves and say, what can I do? Or how can I do something about this to change my circumstances? So know that this is for you. We are going to be talking about a specific aspect of astrology. I will tell you, this is the one thing that got me into astrology because of exactly what I'm about to share with you. I became interested in it. And this started for me back in 2011. Um, Back in 2011, I was going through so much. I was starting the process of separating from my ex husband, or kind of going through that, discovering so much about my sexuality. I was, soon to be a single mom. And this, I really started reading more about this when I became a single mom. And life just seemed like a lot. There was so much that I was confused about. There was so much that I felt disappointed about. I felt lost. And I remember that I was always very open to learn about spirituality, but I never believed, or I never studied, let's say it that way, astrology. I had no, like, all I knew about it is like you get your horoscope from like a magazine and that's it. And it has to do with the month that you were born. So when I learned about what we're talking about today, which is in astrology is called the North Node, it was like an enlightening moment, like a light, a beaming light that has been guiding me through the way. It sounds so corny, and I know, but it's so true. So I actually learned a lot about this through this book that I want to show to you here today. Let me put my napkin. This is Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. If you are into astrology and you haven't read this, you need to read it. If you're just entering and getting curious about astrology, I encourage you to start with this book. And in just a moment, I'm going to explain to you why. This is one of those books that I always come here to share with you that gives, and gives. Something that I share with you is when I read, hold on, let me show you. I highlight what I consider to be like the super like good parts that I was like, wow, this is so helpful. This is what I've been learning throughout these are years and years. Every time I would read it throughout the years, and I normally read it like once a year, I would get such a new enlightening information, helpful information, which is important, that I didn't hear ever before because I wasn't ready to acknowledge it. And what I mean by helpful information is that a lot of the information in this book, first, it is information, but then it gives you actionable things that you can do to apply this into your life. First, I want to say the North Node, and there's two, the North Node and the South Node. Those are not planetary bodies. They're not planets like Venus and Saturn. They're more like a point. Like when you were born, we would have taken a photograph. It's like a point of where the North Node is, where that has to do where the moon was orbiting around the earth and the way it was interacting with the sun. And even if you think about that, the earth represents your grounded, incarnated experience. Your moon represents your inner world, and the sun represents what we put light into. Pretty much the translation of that is the North Node is your guide of how you move in this human experience. And when you get your astrology chart and you look at everything, there's so much information, and we love to like just look at one part of it. But the way that she explains it, and I agree with this so much, is when she used to do any kind of reading, before looking at anything else, she would go and look at the person's north and south node. That tells you the journey that the person is going through in this life. An example of this, and this is how I explained it to my girlfriend last week. I was talking to her about it. I went all out with like saying every little detail, and she's like, I don't understand. And then I gave this example. Imagine that your life, this incarnation, this life that you have right now, was a journey, and you wanted to just focus on, like, I know I need to go somewhere. Should I go on a bike? Should I go on a train? Should I go on a plane? And like, what should I pack? What I mean by that is, if you a lot of the times we try to focus on packing and planning when we yet don't know where we are going. The north node is your guiding light to show you where you are going to in this life. How you get there, that could be maybe your sun sign. It could be in a train, it can be a airplane, you can walk, whatever you want. It's your life, you're creating it. Who you're going with, that's your Venus sign. Are you going alone, or do you want to meet a lot of people? Do you want a beautiful journey, a comfortable journey? What you're, I don't know, listening to when you get there, that could be your Mercury sign. There's so many combination of things that are everything else on your chart. But if you yet don't know where you're going, you're always going to feel lost. There's not going to be a sense of meaning and to why you do things. And the great thing about this is that because we're talking about the moon, it has to do with your inner journey, not where you're going or how much money, meaning like with your career only, or how much money you're making, or what job you should take. Like, I don't know, you decide that, you create that. But it's, what are certain energetical traits that if you start living by them, anything you do, you will find more happiness, more joy, more alignment, and you will be able to also create more impact in the lives of those around you because you are in alignment with nature. When we're not, we feel lost. We don't know how we're moving or why we're even moving in life, and life feels purposeless. So I actually want to go ahead and share with you a little bit about each one of the north nodes. The way that I invite you to look at this information is as a journey. The north node has a starting point. We call it the south node. And then it has an ending point, which is where you want to arrive. And that in itself is the north node. And this is based on your date of birth. So to give you a little bit of perspective, what I would recommend that you can do is maybe pause the video and you can go online to any like astro.com or any astro calculator, and it will tell you. But just to give you a little bit of the dates, I'm going to be reading the information from the book. So if you were born between August 20th of 1967 and April 19th of 1969, you have an Aries North node. Also, if you were born between April 7th of 1986 and December 2nd of 1987, you have an Aries North node. And then if you were born between December 26th of 2004 and June the 21st of 2006, you're an Aries North node. So within that year and a half, it's around, give or take, almost 2 years, a year and a half. Everybody that was born during that time has almost like the same journey, different flavor because there's other things that make you you, but it's kind of that base, same journey. And then the next one is for all of our babies that are going to be born or were already born from July the 18th of 2023 all the way to January 11th of 2025. So if you're having a baby right now, or if you're going to have a baby all the way anytime until January of 2025, they're going to be an Aries North node. So let's see a little bit about what that even means. The way that I want to share this with you is, first, What are some of the tendencies that you already have mastered that you no longer need? If you continue to just move down the path of what you've already learned from your south node, life won't feel fulfilling or different. You won't feel as if you're expanding and growing. What that means for you, Aries North Node, it means that your south node is in Libra. We are going through this right now. Like right now, the North Node is in Aries, the South Node is in Libra. So all of us in this time, and what I mean right now is like, for example, 2023, 2024, we're going through a collective flavor of what I'm about to read. So we're all kind of tapping into it, but mainly specifically the people that have the Aries North Node are experiencing it the most. You are letting go of seeing oneself through other people's eyes. So you never feel that you decide who you are. You need constant validation from other people to know who you are. Those are traits, we can call them the shadow aspects of Libra, is just needing a lot of validation. Having this debilitating selflessness where you care to keep the peace, you care about others. So sometimes you rather sacrifice yourself than to let somebody else down. You want to let go of that. Like you already know how to be there for others. Now things need to be a little different. Letting go of wanting to be Mr. or Mrs. Nice. Like you want things to be nice, you want everything to be okay. And once again, through that process, you may possibly abandon yourself. Having obsessive attachments to fairness and justice, codependence and attachment tendencies, and having this mentality of one eye for one eye. Like if you do something to me, I'm going to do it back because it's only fair. All of those are shadow aspects of Libra because your south node, which is the opposite, is in Libra. You have already mastered the energy of Libra, either in this life, in your upbringing, some people even say in your past life. So now you continuing to be that way is going to lean more into those shadows aspects that I just mentioned, and it could potentially hold you back. Now, what you're here to discover, this is your destination, like your life experiences, your relationships, any struggle that you have is leading you to find independence. You are here in this life to find your own path, to be yourself, to be independent. You are here to become self aware of you, not only aware of others. How are others feeling? What do others need from me? No, 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 no. You're here to look at yourself. Interestingly enough, in this case, that is the energy you want to tap into. You're here to trust, or you're here to find how to trust your impulses. You sometimes may feel like you want to do something, or like this random exciting thing that you may feel, and you may hold yourself back a lot of the times because you may wonder, what are other people going to think of me, or what if my family doesn't agree with this? So you are not going to naturally trust yourself, but you are here in this life to learn how to trust yourself. um Courage, tapping into your courage, constructive self-interest. Sometimes it can be very easy to have that impulsive energy, but doing it for things that could be destructive. Like I feel this impulse to like try using drugs or something like that. That's kind of extreme, but something like that. Or I feel this impulse to spend all my money, and it can lead you to experiencing things in life that are difficult. But you want to be able to trust your instinct, but at the same time have interests that are constructive. Your decisions, when you're making a decision, focusing on how is this going to build me, how am I going to be better because of it? When you notice, like, if I do this, even though it's just I want to do it, but it's going to be destructive to my life, my finances, my health. And that's for all of us. Like, maybe it's not a smart decision, but at the end of the day, it's your life. So you decide. You're here to learn how to be or have moderation when you give to others. It's in your nature to be naturally giving. It's just that you're learning how to take care of yourself first. Now you're still going to give, you're still going to be fair, you're still going to want to keep the peace, but you want to do it in moderation, never in a way where you abandon you for others. And you're going to learn how to self nurture, how to care for you. If you start living your life in this way, you're naturally more independent. You make decisions for you. You take care of yourself. And then you do whatever else you want. Whatever in your life you're here to do, you want to do, whatever your career, whatever your family path, that's the foundation of energetically what's going to make you feel fulfilled, or even if we want to say connected with like your soul, because it's trying to discover that. So that is the energy of Aries North Node. And I'm going to try my best to move through all of them in this video. The next one is Taurus. So if your North Node is in Taurus, it means that you were born between February the 20th of 1966 all the way to August 19th to 1967, or you were born September 12th of 1984 all the way to April the 6th of 1986, or you were born April the 14th of 2003 all the way to December the 25th of 2004. And of course, all of our recent babies from January the 19th of 2022 all the way to July the 17th of 2023. And of course, it's also other dates, like all the way down to the 50s and the 30s. I'm just not posting those, but yeah, just so I don't go through the long list. Now, let's learn a little bit about Taurus North Node. I will say I'm a Taurus North Node, so I can really relate to this one. This is the one that I have super highlighted because I've been reading it for like the last 12 years or more. But if you have a Taurus North Node, your South Node is in Scorpio. So there's a lot of tendencies of Scorpio that you already have within you that you are ready to let go of. Some of those tendencies, especially what I'm about to mention, are the shadow energy of Scorpio is feeling attracted to situations that are intense or that have to do with crisis, like something that's wrong, like feeling an adrenaline rush consistently. So you are attracted to crisis situations. You're over concerned with other people's emotions. Like you want to know how other people are feeling or what other people are thinking. And I am like that. Like I could go somewhere like to a I don't know anywhere like a store, and then we leave the store and I tell my partner, do you feel the cashier was feeling a little bit low, like depressed? And my partner's like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I was just feeling her energy or whatever, something like that. That is like, that's not even my business. Like, why do I naturally feel like I care about how other people are feeling? Anyways, being impatient as a south node in Scorpio, because you're constantly feeling in a state of crisis, you are impatient. You need things to resolve quickly. And that creates more stress. Being impatient puts you more in survival mode, puts you more in crisis. Having inappropriate tendency, meaning you're inappropriate intensity. So you are naturally intense, and it connects back to feeling that you're constantly in a state of crisis. Anybody that has experienced or that has a lot of Scorpio placements. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, of death, of rebirth. Anyone with a lot of Scorpio placements in general, if you have your South Node in Scorpio, you most likely have had a lot of rough experiences when it comes to trauma in this life when you were growing up, or not everybody, I will say, but a lot of people or people around you did, where you became aware that that existed. Or if you believe in past lives, it could be the case that you had a lot of very rough experiences in your past life. So that is why no one understands where you are always hyper vigilant. You are intense. Like something little happens and you want to respond with this intensity. That's what it means by the inappropriate intensity, because it doesn't match what's happening. Like maybe it was just something simple and you're very, like, no, like this is very important. So that's another one. Judgmental tendencies, because you're so self-aware and trying to be in survival mode, you are trying to, without maybe meaning to, you are judging everything that's happening around you. you are preoccupied by the psychological intentions of other people. Like you start thinking, did they really like me, or are they trying to get something from me? Or I don't know, like you analyze what people's intentions are. You feel resistance to cooperate with other people and what they want. You can overreact very easily. And this one is interesting. You destroy something in order to eliminate one part. An example of that is like if you have a group of 5 friends that they all hang out, but one of them does you wrong, you just want to stop talking to the whole group. And it's like, why? It's what's up with one person, but you're like, no, like you are willing to destroy one part of something that you feel is wrong, let go of a whole thing, even if it affects others that have nothing to do with it. And lastly, having obsessive compulsive tendencies. Just reading that list sounded exhausting, exhausting and heavy. And if you have a Taurus North Node, just know that you may not relate with all of these things, but the reality is that some of them you may experience it, and you may also feel very ashamed to let other people know that you're maybe intense or you're very obsessive about certain things, about how people feel about you or whatever. And it's not something to be ashamed of, but it is something to be aware of so you can work on letting it go, because there's no point on living life. Once again, this is what I mean about a journey and the destination. You can live your life doing the same things. And I'm going to give an example, like being a doctor, having a family, having 4 kids, or whatever you want to do, while you're obsessive and intense and heavy. And you walk that path, and it's going to feel and be experienced very differently if all this intense energy is there. Now, um, imagine walking the same path. You're a doctor and you have a family and you have 4 kids, but you're in a state of peace, in a state of trust in life. You respect other people's boundaries, and you understand that what they're feeling and thinking is not your business. You focus on you. You focus on enjoying the pleasures of life. Everything I'm describing is Taurus, and that is what the Taurus North Node is about. Being here to enjoy life and no longer having to live in survival mode. Some of the attributes to develop that you're going to be discovering through life so you can develop, it's developing loyalty, meaning you start trusting in yourself, and for that reason you begin to trust in others, and you stop being hyper vigilant in life. Awareness of boundaries, awareness of your boundaries and other people's boundaries, and respecting both. Taking things one step at a time, understanding that you don't have to be in a survival mode just because something takes time. While it's taking time, you can enjoy every step of the way. Feeling a deep sense of self-worth. So you really, really believe in your worth. And for that reason, you know that you don't have to be hyper vigilant or protecting yourself from others like they have bad intentions towards you, because you believe in your worth. And if somebody does not respect your worth, then you're willing to let go of those people. And it's so important to understand that how you view yourself when it comes to your self-worth is how you act with other people, and what you think, or how you think other people are going to treat you. So that's a very big one. Being aware of your personal values, what is actually important to you, what do you care about, and putting your energy in those things. Developing patience, honoring your express needs, well, your express needs, and honoring the express needs of others. If somebody tells you, I need space, you give them space. If you need space, you verbalize to others, hey, I need space. And you stand your ground so that is respected. Enjoying the physical 5 senses. This is a Taurus thing. You enjoy food, you enjoy anything that's beautiful, you enjoy touch, just allowing yourself to be like, being alive is amazing, and enjoying that. Feeling gratitude because you're in tune with nature, with life. You're letting life have it like its own pace. You open your heart to feel gratitude. Awareness of Mother Earth or just nature itself. You spend time in nature. Developing forgiveness because you're taking care of yourself, and you also begin to understand yourself, you are willing to find forgiveness. Forgiveness starts with oneself. So you forgive yourself, and through that, you develop the forgiveness of others for others. And the other big thing about Taurus North Node is you have a lot of lifetimes where you depended on others and your survival depended on others. And that is why you feel that you need others to survive and you're so hyper vigilant. You do not. You're here and you have yourself. So developing your own everything you need to survive, meaning being independently financially to the best of your ability, saving money, all of those things really, really make you feel in alignment with life. So that is the Taurus North Node. The next one here is Gemini. So you have a Gemini North Node if you were born anywhere, anytime between August the 26th of 1964 to February the 19th of 1966, or September 25th of 1981, all the way to March the 16th of 1983, or October 13th of 2001 all the way to April the 13th of 2003. And the next one was in May the 5th of 2020, our 2020 babies, and January the 18th of 2022. Those are the North Node in Gemini. So if you do have a North Node in Gemini, it means that your South Node is in Sagittarius. So you have a lot of that energy of Sagittarius just innately within you. And some of the shadow tendencies of Sagittarius that you do want to let go of, if you want to tap into your Gemini North Node, is feeling that you know it all. So you feel a little bit above other people, like you have the knowledge and it's like, oh my God, why don't they know? Why don't they get it? That makes you feel separated from people and you become a little bit aloof, like just uninterested in people because you feel in some way superior because you have a lot of wisdom. You assume others know where they are at because you know where you're at. When you're speaking with somebody, you assume they know what their issues are or where they're at. And when somebody is like, I don't know why this happened to me, it irritates you that people could seem ignorant to their own pain, we could say, or life in general. And whose problem is that? It's actually yours. If it makes you upset how other people move in life, what other people do, you are the one that's upset. That's why this can be limiting. Um, Also, thinking one knows what others are saying without really listening. You assume that you know what other people are going through and what they're going to say. So when they speak to you, you're just like, yeah, but you're never listening openly. You know, you don't care to hear what the person is experiencing. You assume and generalize and think that you know. You need to be right. So you just feel like you need to be right. And if you don't, if somebody challenges you, you become uninterested in that person because you're right in your head. Um, Having careless spontaneity. So you want to be spontaneous and you want to do like whatever you want, but sometimes it can be very careless where you spend all your money, where you could put your health in danger, where you don't think of the consequences. And that's a big one. Taking shortcuts. So because you think you know more than others, you assume like, oh, I could skip the next three steps, like no problem. And then later that could come and bite you in the butt. And you can be like, oh my God, I did it wrong. And I have to start from the beginning. So that's a lot of Sagittarius energy. Taking oneself too seriously, having this like kind of approach to life where you're like you feel, because you feel separated from others, you're like, I already know. And sometimes you think like, what's even the point of doing that? Like, I know there's no point to that, so why am I going to do it? Feeling almost like uninterested. um Resisting ideas that are different than yours. Like you could really benefit from learning from others, but you go like, oh no, because I'm older than them, or because I studied this and they didn't. And you close off to learning from life, from the world, from other people. Prejudging present situations on the basis of past experiences. So sometimes you don't give a situation a chance. You don't let it be whatever it is. You want to assume, oh, it's going to be like the last time because that's how it was. So, in other words, you are very wise. You have a lot of inner knowing, which can sometimes make you feel separated from people. And in this life, that's not your path. You won't feel joy and you won't feel alignment, like real alignment, until you're tapping more into that Gemini North node. That is almost like your guiding light, your destiny, your destination. Geminis love to be curious, to communicate, to know. They're also about knowledge, but it's all about having this healthy curiosity. That is the biggest quality that you want to develop if you have a Gemini North node. You want to get curious about life. If somebody's telling you something, you want to be curious, like, why? Let me try to understand. It doesn't have anything to do with you. And it takes a lot of humility to accept that. You want to develop asking questions to learn how other people think, not to be right. You don't want the right answer. You just want to see, like, oh, how do they see it? So you ask questions to get to know other people, seeing both sides of the story. Whatever is going on, if you feel like, I already know how this is, now once again, I wonder how the other side is. And you want to have curiosity for both sides. Logic. It is a gift of yours to develop this very logical mindset and being very good at communicating. Just a positive approach to life and other people. Instead of seeing other people and being like, "Oh, why don't they know?" You want to feel excited, like, oh, I love people. I love to talk to people. I love to go. It doesn't mean you have to become an extrovert. This could be even your own little group, being genuinely curious about your friends, or it could be your family. It could be people that you're like in class with. You don't have to become friends with them, but when they share a point of view, just being open to listen to see if you can learn. Um, Purposely cheering other people up. Like when you have a Gemini North node, you are, like I mentioned earlier, you are excited about people where sometimes, even if they could be a stranger, you want to be excited for them. So if somebody, I don't know, is proposing in the middle of the street and you don't even believe in marriage, you're like, I would never marriage, but the proposal is going on. You want to be like, hell yeah, woo, or well, congratulations, whatever. Not doing it in a fake way, but finding a way through your life journey of how can you care about what other people go through, even if it doesn't involve you. I hope that makes sense because I feel like I'm repeating a lot of the same thing. Using non-threatening approach when you express yourself. It's very common for Sagittarius North Node people to be very straightforward when they speak. Nothing wrong with that, but you want to make sure that when you are trying to communicate, because your path is to discover others, if you're very threatening when you speak, people are not going to feel safe around you. So you want to develop, whatever that means to you, a non-threatening approach to communicating. I could not even give one example because I feel that there's various ways of doing this. Sometimes it's the tone, sometimes it's the words that you use, and you want to do it in your own way. But at least figuring out, like, how can I be more open when I'm communicating, or more receptive? I don't know if that makes sense, but yes. And then the other one is listening, not to understand, but to be able to just almost like hold that space for that person out of curiosity. And then seeking factual information before making decisions. This is where that spontaneous energy of Sagittarius of, I'm just going to go and spend all my money on this trip and not pay rent. It could feel exciting and you're like, who cares? I'm going to do it. But you want to use and learn throughout your life how to tap into that logic of Gemini and looking at the reality. If I do go on this trip and spend all my money and not pay rent, I could very easily be evicted. Do I want to deal with the eviction process and not having a place to live? No. What can I do here that's fun and exciting where I don't have to travel and spend all my money? Something like that. So that is the energy of Gemini South Node. There's chapters and chapters of information in the book if you want to get it, if you want to Purchase it. Remember, Astrology for the Soul by Jan Spiller. Now, let's go to the next one. There's a chance I'm not going to get through all of them because I don't want to make this episode super long, but it's okay because then I'll make another one next week and we'll come back. The next one is, let's see, North Node in Cancer. So if your North Node is in Cancer, um, sorry, I was remembering something. I'll tell you the story in a little bit, but I posted a video about the North Nodes on TikTok, and somebody was so reluctant to the energy of their North Node. It was very interesting. They were so strong on their South Node, and they were like, no. And I was like, wow. Like, it just continued to confirm to me, like, how is this so accurate? Anyway, so if you have your North Node in Cancer, you were probably born between either December 24th of 1962 to August the 25th of 1964, or September 25th of 1981 to March the 16th of 1983, or um, April the 10th of 2000 to October the 12th of 2001, or November the 7th of 2018, also our babies, to May the 4th of 2020. Those are the new Cancer North Nodes. So if your North Node is in Cancer, that means that your South Node is in Capricorn. So there's a lot of Capricorn energy that you're letting go of. Let's talk a little bit about Capricorn. Some of the shadow energy of Capricorn is very like a father figure type of energy where you already feel, and I'm trying to find it. So I'm here moving through the pages. Here it is. You feel like you have to be in charge at all times. And maybe in this life when you were younger or in a past life you did, but that's not the path for you this life. We know that you already know how to be in charge and get it all done. That's not what you're here to learn. If you are a Cancer North Node, your South Node is in Capricorn, and you're letting go of some of this shadow energy of Capricorn, needing to control everything and everyone, compulsion to take charge without fully understanding the situation. Something happens and you start making decisions, taking charge. You don't even maybe have the knowledge of what happened or what is needed. Ignoring the process and being too focused on the goal. So instead of being focused on what's the process, like why am I even doing this, is what's the goal? I'm going to hit the goal no matter what. And you don't care to explore the other option. Feeling completely responsible for everything. So you carry this very heavy, heavy, heavy feeling of responsibility. And it's almost like, in a way, keeping you limited. Let's put it that way. Hiding feelings and fears in intimate relationships. You only let yourself go so far when you meet somebody emotionally, and you never open up your heart. You keep it superficial, you keep it goal oriented, you keep it about like, okay, what am I doing? What are you doing? Like very almost transactional instead of letting your heart open and letting people in. Doing things to gain respect and admiration. So even if you don't want to do it, you're like, ooh, this can get me people's admiration and respect. I'm going to go for it because you feel that need to be respected and to be in charge. Taking care of other people's feelings, but neglecting your own. So sometimes you do care. Hey, how are you feeling? What do you need? And then when they ask you back, you're like, I'm fine. So you care about other people's feelings, but you're willing to care for their feelings, but you don't care for your own. Doing what is socially acceptable rather than what's totally honest. So instead of being like, I don't want to go, I'm canceling plans, I have to go because people from work are going to be there and I don't want them to think that I don't care about social events or something. I don't know. So instead of doing what's honest, what's real for you, what you need, what you feel, you do what's right. Thinking that things have to be difficult in order to be important. That's a big one. Thinking that things have to be difficult in order to be important. If something's simple and easy, you're like, oh, I'm not that interested, because to you, it doesn't carry that intensity of responsibility that you're used to having. Now, in this life, all of that I read, that's not going to bring you fulfillment. You can feel temporarily satisfied, but that's not what you're here or what your soul is here to learn. In this life, you're here to tap into the energy of Cancer. You're here to notice and validate feelings in general, but especially your own. You want to notice your feelings. You want to validate your feelings. You want to notice the feelings of others and validate their feelings. You're here to develop empathy, caring energy, nurturing and supporting others, and nurturing and supporting yourself. You're probably going, as you're hearing this, like, oh my God, no. I want to do, I don't want to feel. But that's your journey. You're going on a transformational journey of doing to feeling yourself through life and allowing your emotions and caring for others and love and that feeling. And love, what I mean is love for humanity, for people, to guide you, to make you feel connected. Building your own foundation and security. And what this means is also emotionally, not just mentally or not just through your job or your bank account. What emotionally makes you feel secure? Feeling a sense of honesty and comfort in sharing your feelings. If there's a day where you're feeling down, being okay saying, I'm not feeling well right today, I feel a little sad, or whatever the case, and just saying it and being honest and expressing how you feel. Developing a sense of humility, realizing that emotions are not weakness. Emotions are your strength. Emotions are the things that you have to go through, the path, the tunnel to lead you to what you want. You think it's more success, more achievement. There's a confusion there. It's not. In this life, it's not. It's about feeling and allowing yourself to have that humility. Accepting others and accepting other people's changes in mood. I know this is a big one because that's why we judge emotions, because we see people like, they were happy in the morning, why are they now suddenly sad? Especially, I know that, not to necessarily have to say it's only men or only women. This happens to all of us. But sometimes men think that about women, or people in general, like our mood changes so much. You know why? Because it does, because of our hormones. We have so many hormones, so many things are happening. So yeah, our mood changes within the day, within all the time, and it's okay. That's the energy and the feeling of a Capricorn North Node, feeling that it's okay. Do you have to resolve people's mood when they change throughout the day? No. Other people's emotions are not your responsibility, but you can be aware and not judge it. Just accepting it, like, oh, there's emotions. Now they're a little bit sad. Maybe if you care, if you want to, you can offer, like, hey, what can I do, or not. That's up to you. Not everybody's looking to be saved when we're feeling something. And lastly, staying centered in your own feelings. What that means is finding, number one, not allowing your emotions to overpower you, but being aware of them and building a relationship with them. And as you become more empathetic, realizing it's not your job to save everybody. I'm sounding like a broken record, but it's true. Those are the ones where that's the feeling of, at the end of the day, you're finding peace and enjoyment with discovering emotions in this life in the most healthy and loving way. So that is Cancer North Node. And let's see the next one here. So after Cancer, we do have Leo. So we have Leo North Node. If you were born between June the 11th of 1961 to December the 23rd of 1962, or if you were born January the 13th of 1980 to September the 24th of 1981, or you were born October the 21st of 1998 to April the 9th of 2000, or you were born May the 10th of 2017, they're still babies, November the 6th of 2018, you are a North Node. Also, where else? All the way to the 40s. So if you are born with a Leo North Node, your South Node is going to be in Aquarius. So there's a lot of shadow energy of Aquarius that you are ready to let go of. Some of this energy has to do with letting go of the pressure of feeling that you have to belong. Aquarius energy cares about the community, the whole. So they always have this pressure. I need to belong in the whole. I need to be part of everything. Um, if also you want to let go of being detached of emotional situations. Aquarius people are very caring, or Aquarius energy, it cares, but it cares for the whole picture, not so much individually. So sometimes an individual story of like heavy emotions, Aquarius go like I don't want to be part of that. So you have that, and that makes you aloof. If your North Node is in Leo, you may find yourself naturally be very aloof, very uninterested in people's specific stories. You feel you need to belong in the whole picture, in community. Um, you're waiting for others to prompt your own actions because you're so in this deep belief of the whole of the community. You're always waiting, okay, let me wait for others to do it and then I'll do it because then I'm part of the community. You're not looking out for yourself, pretty much. That's the big part. You're not looking out for yourself. You're not connected 100% to yourself or others because you're so connected to the community. You're overlooking what's really going on because you're looking at such a broad perspective of things. You're really not aware of what's going on. Waiting for more knowledge before you take action. Just wanting to have more knowledge before you make a decision. I'll read more. I'll get another degree, or I'll do this, I'll do that, and then I'll get the job. Excessive daydreaming. You're not here in this life living life. You're in your head. You're thinking about other things or bigger things. And you're running away from confrontation because you care about the whole, because you care about the community. You don't want to create ripples, so you don't want to create confrontation. Now, this is not all Aquarius energy. This is specifically of some of the shadow tendencies for Aquarius North Node. Now, this could also fall for other Aquarius energy. Now, what you're here to develop is the Leo energy, which we know many people know about Leo because Leos care about themselves. Leo is the sun. It wants to be seen. So you're here in this life to take a walk, like walk your own path. You want to have your individuality. You want to own your story. You want to be willing to take center stage. It's okay if things are about you in this life. You want to follow your heart's desire, not the community's desire, not what everybody says. Yes, you care about the community, so you're not going to do things that hurt others. But when we're talking about your personal decision of what you're going to wear, you can decide. It's okay for you to be like, and that's just an example, like you want to be making your own decisions for you. Strength in your willpower. When you want something, you own it and you move forward with it. You're enthusiastic, you're excited, you're like very, very excited about life, about you. You carry yourself with self-confidence. You're okay taking risks. You relate to this energy of like a kid, a childlike energy of wanting to see this world and wanting to explore it. Seeing life like a game. You want to have fun. Life is like a game. And developing this, it is up to me energy. I don't need to belong in every little group. I don't need society to give me my place. I take my place. That is the Leo North Node. So you want to tap into that energy of the Leo North Node. With that said, we've reached half of the North Node zodiac signs, and I will stop here for today just because I don't want to make the episode super long. But you know what that means. Next episode, I'm going to come back with part 2, so that way we can look at all of the other signs. I highly encourage you, if you find any interest in anything that I'm saying, even though I know it's a lot, you want to go deeper and read this book. I mentioned to you earlier, this is how I got into astrology. And what I mean about this continues to give. I've had this book for like since 2011, however long that is. And every time that I read it, I get something else from it. I don't know how to explain it to you. And then I live life. I go through things. And then I go back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm closer to these traits that it's explaining. But first, I couldn't see them all. Like, I would read it and be like, no, I don't want that. Or like, why? I was so resistant. And the more that I go through life, and life humbles me and it pushes me to be like, girl, like you have to like look at this stuff. I suddenly start living more in alignment with my north node, and I feel more aligned with myself. And that is how I've been able to continue to explore it throughout the years. I hope this episode is interesting. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments, or also feel free to let me know in the comments what is your north node, or if you have any questions so I can talk more about it. And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I will see you soon.